It's daybreak on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. But first, a first look rather at what's on the front pages of the papers. And we start with our sister publication, This Day newspaper. This Day has on its front page, Tinubu roars back, says he's fit and ready to serve. APC PCC holds inaugural meeting this week. Strike, just below that picture of world track record holder being made an ambassador. Strike. FD1's ASU against disobeying court order. And then just below the nameplate, Atiku. 2023 is a choice between new direction and those who want to sustain current disaster. Let me just take some of the riders there. It says, a last-minute move to keep one house meets BOT members, Northeast stakeholders. Next, Wike Ugwanyi Ibazu Makinde Autumn meet in Enugu. Presidential Council to facilitate states access to $750 million World Bank facility. And then just on the top mast, for the first time, Buhari excludes ex-Senate President Saraki from national honors. This day staff music stars among 435 others.
The Punch newspaper this morning, leading stories: the PDP crisis, aggrieved governors meet in Enugu, plot IU's removal. Wike, Makinde autumn, others review Atiku's conditions. Just below that, there's leading photos, sad this morning. Anger as over 120, that's now 125 fans die in Indonesia stadium, a tragedy.
The Nation newspaper, PDP Board of Trustees may ask IU to resign over crisis. I'm hale, hearty, that's according to Tinubu. And Ohaneze to the southeast don't take Atiku seriously.
All right, let's look at leadership. It says Wike Makinde, that's after Abuja Pali, with Atiku. Wike Makinde, Otom Ibazu Ugwanyi meet. The way options riders failed to reach agreement to hold more consultations after Enugu closed-door meeting. At leadership Twitter space, Wike's camp says it's been vindicated by 151 million returned by the PDP and WC members. And then on the top mast of the paper, Machina, APC's planned appeal, waste of time. Lawyers.
The Guardian, Nigeria this morning, 3 trillion stranded, 3 trillion naira stranded over time. Cargoes rot at Lagos on their ports.
The international papers now. Let's go over to The Independent. Gove calls on trusts to ditch tax cuts for the rich. Well, the latest that we're getting, according to reports from the BBC, the Bloomberg, and also it says the BBC saying that the UK government is expected to scrap the reversal of the 45% tax rate, and the pound is climbing on this news.
All right, Daily Express. Kwasi, no more decline. We must stay the course. Then you look at that little space. Unstoppable. Well, I don't know how unstoppable they are. City Flash United. A friend said actually that Man United won City 3-2 in the second half.
For the press review, let's bring in Emmanuel Ballo, who joins us now from our outside studio. Emmanuel, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's take a look at This Day newspaper. It says Tinubu roars back, says he's fit and ready to serve. This comes as the APC presidential candidate released a video of himself, a 7-second video of himself on a spinning bike, basically telling Nigerians that he's hale and hearty and he's ready to serve Nigerians from day one. And I think this is really a contradicting statement for him, because If you're ready to serve from day one, then you should be in the country as campaign starts, and you should be here organizing, electioneering, getting ready for the campaign issues. I don't know what's really more important that he's doing in London, as he's hale and hearty, than being here in Nigeria, signing the Peace Pact, preparing for this rigorous election in a time like this. If he's so hale and hearty, if he's so well, then what's really going on in London? What's so important than being here and explaining to citizens that you want to serve, why they should pick you to serve them?
Well, good morning, Kechi. Indy, Kenneth, good morning, happy holidays. Of course, we have no holidays here, but the rest of the country, doing that. But life goes on, and these stories keep coming. And it's a good day to start with the Tinubu story. And this day, I think this day, and one other paper is leading with the Tinubu story. It was the biggest story so far that came out yesterday about him. There were rumors about his health. In fact, some people even insinuating that he's probably bedridden or had even died. A picture, they say, or a video will speak more than 1,000 words. So his campaign had to release him doing a 7-minute run on that bike. And sadly, I think it backfired because just like you're saying, Nkechi, it raised all the other issues surrounding this. And that's the danger of some of this. I've been in the middle of campaigns in the past, and this kind of situations where your principal is away and you are doing everything. You are bringing out pictures, you are bringing out videos to convince the citizenry that no, all is well. But of course, your effort keep generating more questions. I've been in that place before and I understand what the Tinubu campaign people are really dealing with right now, because of course you show him doing those 7 seconds on a bike, but these questions, the type that you're asking, Nkechi, are still going to be asked. People will say, so where is he? On one of the most, it's just like on the one of the most important events of this electoral cycle, which is the kickoff. He wasn't there. He wasn't in any of his kickoffs. He wasn't there when they were signing the peace accord. It's like missing out on your birthday or even on your wedding, on the wedding day. It's difficult to actually explain to people what's going on, and that's probably part of the crisis and the difficulty around the APC campaign, because first you have to deal with the records of the APC in government itself, then you have to also now have to grapple with the issue of even the candidate himself, his health, his integrity, his record himself as a person, his claims. You have to fact check on all of that. So, and that's what the campaign finds itself doing at the time where they should be out there like the OB crowd or the Atiku people talking about what the candidates can do, and having those rallies, really, ramping up the base to see that they secure some kind of, demands or affection for the candidates. But rather, you are bogged down with this explanation and linkage, like you pointed out this morning. Even after these cycling videos, those questions are bound to remain. Where is he? People want to see him on ground. He says he's ready to lead from day one. People want to see that in the campaigns, because the campaigns are actually a signpost of how you are going to be accepted, and actually what you are going to be doing. So yes, the campaign will have to do more than just a video and a picture. They have to find a way of bringing him to be here to talk to the people directly. So that's the crisis of the APC. The PDP is having its own type of crisis too.
It's interesting this video has just been released, because if you surf online, way back in 2013, the same video, very similar, of Bola Tinubu exercising on a bike, him saying he's alive and well, and the history just repeating itself. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has himself been making TikToks. He's been dancing. We didn't hear much from the PDP, the Labour Party rather, candidate, but we did hear from supporters of the Labour Party who've demonstrated so far in at least 20 states across the country. But I've read think pieces from so many critics, some analysts, who are saying that these rallies don't mean anything for the Labour Party. Your thoughts, Emmanuel?
No, I disagree. I think those rallies mean a lot. It shows that because what the rallies and the organizers of the rallies are trying to say is that, look, there's that charge that the Obi movement was largely a Facebook or social media affair. They are saying that, no, look, we have got real numbers. We have people on the streets. So that's why those rallies are out there. So they confirm that, look, the Obi movement is beyond Facebook and beyond social media. I think the question to be asked is if those rallies can translate into votes. I think that's the next challenge for the Obi dirty crowd, because it's not enough to have people who are just excited or excitable about a messianic kind of character in Obi, you know, on the streets. How is that going to be channeled into votes, you know, on election day? Because the only poll that matters, Kenneth, is the poll itself on the election day, the polling. That's what really matters. So you can have all those dances, all those things on the street, but your biggest challenge is how to convert those into real votes, into real electoral values that we galvanize your candidate to victory. That should be beyond the rallies, beyond the dancing, beyond the carnivals and the jamborees. That's what's now the Obi Dirty group we have to really worry about. Atiku dancing, very good. I was having a good laugh here. So it's interesting. I think it's it's the Atiku people way of answering to the general crisis that's been generated by the Obi crowd in this election. The issue of the suitability, the age, the ability of these candidates, talking about generational pool. So you see Atiku trying to do a good one there, dance in those agbada, you know, and then of course he wore a shirt and Atiku tries to do that, tries to say that, look, I'm dapper, I am forward looking, I'm also like your generation, I think about what you people are thinking about, I've got this taste for, you know, the good things of life, I know what it takes, I'm modern, I'm not as ancient as you think other people are. So it's these two rather, you know, older men in contest with a much more agile, you know, guy in Obi. So this is their answer: one cycling, the other dancing. But you and I will now have to sit back. Maybe Nkechi will be the judge to tell us who won in the TikTok contest of the dance. But those were great moves by the former vice president.
The Nation newspapers, PDP Board of Trustees may ask RU to resign over crisis. And then just below that, you see PFN to Nigerians, vote competence, not religion. Actually has a statement here. He says the PFN president said he had personally resolved to cast his vote for either a Christian or a Muslim presidential candidate that has the capacity to deliver. Then on the top mast, you see Ohaneze to Southeast. Don't take Atiku seriously. Then just by the side there, obey court order, government tells ASU.
Very interesting stories on the front page of the Nation. The Nation actually likes to back since for close to a month now. They've dwelt on the PDP story as a cover. I think while other editorial trust around newspapers try to, you know, maybe downplay some of the story or try to give even a positive outlook to what the Atiku team is doing or what even Atiku is saying, the Nation keeps, putting out the issue of crisis and calling it what it is, a crisis. Now on the latest crisis, saying that the Board of Trustees may be asking IU to resign. Last night, the socials were filled with all sorts of story of what they now call the PDP 5. Almost like movie stars. You see them working together. Those five governors, those other governors that are with Wike, meeting in Enugu. Some of us stayed awake late into the night, hoping to hear whether there's going to be any news from that. But nothing seems to be coming out of that. It seems like the needle has not shifted, like Wike and his group are still insisting that the sacrifice that they'll be needing to quell all of this is the sacking or the resignation of IU. So, and this day is playing that up so seriously today. We don't know if maybe by the end of the day we are going to get some kind of communique from those closed-door meetings. But it is the last-ditch effort, it appears, by the Atiku camp to be able to have some kind of closure to those problems. But you see an Atiku dancing, telling you that, well, look, beyond all of this problem, maybe there's the magic the catch somewhere where he can still weather all this stuff. There were efforts in the past to actually even go bypass Wike, go beyond him and say, look, and people have suggested that, look, let's not be bogged up by the Wike thing, but you cannot rule out that altogether. And Wike keeps saying that, look, you can't get so anywhere beyond me. So these meetings are speaking to that, and they're reporting too, showing that there are still more problems to deal with. But looks as if the Atiku camp is up and running and off the ground and already ready to go into the campaigns. This will be another kind of side hustle, if you wish, for the party to be able to deal with the crisis of Wike. But the campaign seems as if it's ready to go ahead with its campaigns, and of course, with even promises like the one that Ohaneze is asking the Southeast not to believe Atiku. Atiku is saying, look, wait, the Southeast should wait for him to essentially do the presidency first, and then he finds a way of making an Igbo person the president. That is also generating crisis even within his campaigning too, because there are people who are saying that Okowa, so what promise do we hold out for Okowa? These are some of the issues that the campaigns we have to deal with, even as we effectively go into the campaigns this week and beyond.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello, for joining us this morning. That's the press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter @AriseTV. You can join today's conversation using the hashtag AriseDaybreak.